Hello and welcome to the first ever Joypad for Goalposts Game of the Year.
You
I'm joined by
almost
Chris.
said it wrong.
I'm joined by Chris. He's right there.
Hi.
This is the podcast table, and via the magic of two bean cans and a very long piece of string on the other end of it is Mark Hamer from Laps Gamer Radio. Hello, Mark.
Hello?
How are you doing?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we've got you loud and clear.
Hey, I can bloody see you. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. So we're going to explain some rules on how we've kind of decided how to do Game of the Year. So we're kind of sticking to consoles because none of us are big PC gamers really. There are some titles in here that also appeared on PC.
Yep.
So we broken it down by Switch, Xbox, PS4 and multi-platform. We are going to pick 3 games from each category and decide one winner from each category, and then that'll make a top 12, and then we're going to argue and whittle that top 12 down to an ordered list of 10.
Oh god.
For the time being, the winners of each category, we will lock them in for the top 3. As the argument progresses, we may find that a top 3 for one platform may drop. But we'll see how it goes, and hopefully this won't take forever, and hopefully we'll end up with a list of 10 games that are the Joypads for Goalposts Game of the Year. Mark, you don't own an Xbox, unfortunately. So,
no, not yet.
So me and Chris are going to start off by arguing out the list of Xbox games, which viewers will be able to see on the screen via the magic of a spreadsheet. So the Xbox nominees are Super Lucky's Tale, Halo Wars 2, Cuphead, Forza, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Phantom Dust, Disneyland Adventures Remastered,
Oh, great game.
Connect Rush, Candleman and Tacoma. So before we start, as good as this year Xbox One X has kind of made the Xbox arguably the place to play like the best versions of multi-platform games.
Yep.
Has to be said, it's not been a stellar year for Xbox One exclusives.
Very sparse.
Like, if it wasn't for PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, the only games that are coming out close to Christmas time are Disneyland Adventures Remastered and Connect Rush.
And no one's lining up to buy those.
No.
So.
So I think we can safely rule out the 2 Disney games before we even start talking
Sure.
the rest.
How about, where did Candleman come from?
I've
played and beat that game.
So
but
I looked it up. It's exclusive.
I was completely unaware of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was an exclusive. So perhaps you can explain a bit about what it is.
I think I just grabbed it because it was on sale. There's not a lot to explain though, really, honestly. As far as I can remember, because it was a while ago since I played that game, you're just a candle. It doesn't give you much in terms of a story apart from, I don't really remember. In terms of gameplay though, you're a candle, you go from like one area to the next. You're going somewhere. This sounds very vague, because it is very vague.
You can go into more detail.
I don't remember that much about it.
Okay,
so
perhaps that speaks for itself then.
I'd say that's why I asked, because I don't think it should be on this list at all. Like,
okay,
in terms of Game of the Year, for sure. Let's get rid of it.
Okay, it's done. You should see it's been crossed through.
Super Lucky's Tale, let's talk about that. Neither of us have played it, right?
I've watched it be played at a Microsoft store. It looks like a very by the numbers platform game. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing stellar.
So, yeah, I've not played it either, and I'd say that's pretty much what it looks like to me too.
Let's rule it out then.
Gone.
Okay. I don't think this might be controversial. I don't think Forza deserves a place on this list because of all its loot box nonsense it has. So they got rid of a lot of the progression the way it worked before.
Yeah.
You can't just buy games with credits now, and you can't just like tune your car. You have to win it in like loot boxes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And then, yeah, so that kind of wrecks the game. I don't think it deserves to be on here. And it's just
for some people it might be, but for me personally, I'm more into the Horizon ones anyway.
Yeah, slightly more arcadey.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we can get rid of that too. This is going quicker than expected.
No, but wait till we get down to. We're getting down.
No, once we get to the nitty gritty.
Okay, Phantom Dust is a card-based action RPG game that was on the original Xbox that they re-released for free. I've played a little bit of it.
Yep.
it doesn't deserve a place on this list. It's not
I've
aged
played
well.
none of it. I've just seen what it looks like and what kind of game it is. I probably downloaded it because it was free, but I haven't touched it, so
It's out.
it's gone.
Okay, now I think it gets tougher.
Okay, so what we're left with?
We're left with Halo Wars 2, Cuphead, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and Tacoma.
That's what we're left with.
Yeah.
It's been a poor year. Okay, so you can talk about Tacoma because I haven't played that game.
So
I've just watched reviews.
Tacoma is by the makers of Gone Home.
Yeah.
You are hijacking a spaceship where everybody has been killed, or there's been an accident, and there's no survivors at
Yep.
least. And the story's told through a series of like replay, like vignettes of like these sort of like ethereal ghost projections of their conversations. And you can, each time you go into an area, you kind of rewind and fast forward the story to, and then pause it at different places to kind of zero in on people's, like they have like these little like floating tablet things almost that tell the story. Or to what they're looking at, and you find out information about each one of them. Sometimes they will argue and like wander off, and you'll see two different sides of the conversation, and you're trying to piece together what happened to them. The ship kind of works on a cycle and is run by like this shady organization that does shady things. And the characters are kind of facing up to the fact that they're going to die, and they're just trying to find out what they did that was different to like other crews, kind of.
Yep.
It made my it's in my top 10 games of the year personally.
Yeah.
It's pretty, I would say it's relatively low down, but it's a really good game. It has that heart and soul that Gone Home had. It kind of removes a lot of the little puzzles of finding stuff. It is more linear. Like you're assisted by, I will say you're assisted by something that kind of does funnel you where to go for each bit.
Yeah.
So it's not like Gone Home where you could get lost and kind of wander around the house. But
Is it pretty short? Because I
finished it in 2 settings over a weekend.
But it was good for what
Good.
you got.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was cut short.
No.
Okay.
And it was a satisfying ending. It had a twist.
Yeah.
And it had twists throughout, actually. About
Because
like,
there's been too many games these days where they just keep going for the sake
Yeah.
of trying to make it a longer game and adding filler for no reason.
and it had a twist both in terms of the bigger plot, but then as you're going along the way, it kind of has twists about each of the characters and why they're on the space station. Then twists about the characters' relationships.
Yeah, yeah.
Twists about like the characters' sexuality and stuff. All sorts of like clever stuff that helps you, even though you don't ever see the characters' faces properly because they're these weird like hologram things.
Yep.
You can still relate to each character because they're all different colours and different body shapes, and then through their stories, you kind of fall in love with some of the characters, you hate some of the characters, and you feel sad for some of the characters.
Yep.
So for me, I would say Tacoma's in the top 3 Xbox games of the year.
Okay. So next we got to talk about Halo Wars 2 because for me, Cuphead and PUBG are going to be in that top 3.
Okay.
So, and as I haven't played Tacoma, I can't really say too much about it. That's why I wanted to know how you felt about it. So
I do like it.
We've both played Halo Wars 2.
Together, in fact.
Together, yeah. And almost,
co-op.
I think we've almost beaten it together.
Got like one more mission left.
Yeah. So
It's good, but it's very like by the numbers. And
it's if you ever played Halo Wars, the original,
No.
it's honestly, if you had played, you could go from one to the other, and there's not a drastic amount changed from one to the other. So yeah, it is very by the numbers. I think they just made it to appease some fans, I guess, that wanted another Halo Wars, and I love those type of games. So,
But it's very polished
right
and
up my
very
alley.
good, which
It
isn't
is.
something you can say for PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds at the moment. Because it's early access.
we know.
So I think this is where, even though Mark's not played it, I just had him laugh, so he could perhaps
Yep.
play into this conversation. So I guess you've probably seen how janky it is, Mark, because it's been doing the internet.
I watched the Giant Bomb
Okay, yeah.
quick look of it, and
So you've
yeah,
seen the way like the
even
buildings
watching-
look melted and stuff.
well, yeah, there's that, but the thing that like I was even watching someone else play it, the like frame rate issues made me feel seasick.
Yeah. So I haven't played it that way, but if you go and drop into one of the major cities where a lot of people drop in,
Yeah.
the frame rate is terrible. It's like 10 frames a second. It doesn't matter so much if you go and land somewhere a bit more sparse,
Yeah.
because then by the time you run into players, there's a lot less players in the game.
Yeah.
But there's like the hospital and there's like a warehouse there. If you go drop in them at the beginning, it runs like ass. And if the textures haven't loaded in either, you've got like So I don't. It's
Like I
hard.
said, I
but
haven't on the Xbox One X. I haven't seen. Yeah, it still runs like the work. It is terrible, but I haven't run into as bad as it issues as it is on the original Xbox.
and
One.
then you've got to look like it's. I'm sure it's on a lot of like publications lists for the year based
Yeah.
on the PC, and the PC version's been very janky for a long time as well.
It's just that people accept it because it's not a game that's really done, and you're buying it on Xbox knowing that because it's in the game preview program, right?
It's just
So-
terribly optimized.
Oh,
yeah,
like
which you would like
it's
to
like-
think over time.
it's
won't
like
be
they
an
threw
issue.
together a game
Which is weird because
didn't
they've
bother.
been working on it. They must have been working on it since at least June when they announced it. You would have thought.
You would have thought, and
then again,
and there
how-
was word that Microsoft were going to help them get it on Xbox and get it running
Yeah,
good.
the studio that made the last Gears of War apparently helped
Yeah.
them out.
Oh, so what are they called?
The
The
Collective, I
Coalition.
think.
The Coalition.
The Coalition,
Yeah, yeah.
They obviously didn't do much for them.
So I guess the argument comes down then. So we're looking at Halo Wars 2, a very so-so game, but very, very polished.
I want to know: is it Tacoma for you, or is it Halo Wars 2? Because if you say it's Tacoma for you, then I'll accept that because Halo Wars 2 is
But-
very by the numbers, and it's a good game, but
Okay, but I'm not sure if the argument's between Halo Wars 2 and Tacoma. I wonder if the argument could be Halo Wars 2 and Player Unknown.
I don't
It's
know.
Halo Wars 2.
I've played a few hours of Player Unknown, and I can tell you I've already had much more fun with Player Unknown than I have with Halo Wars 2. Regardless of polish, regardless of
Okay.
like,
So there's the argument.
anything
so do you
else.
think, so regardless of polish, so you think the core experience of Player Unknown Battlegrounds, it's there?
for sure.
It's obviously there. It's enough to put
They
it
know
above
what they've
Halo
got,
Wars 2.
and I know what they've got too because it's fun. It's a rush to play, especially when you start reaching like the last 20, the last
Okay.
10.
And the one game we've missed talking about so far, which I know is a lock-in for you in the top 3, is Cuphead.
Cuphead that's why we didn't talk about it yet.
So I am indifferent towards Cuphead in some regards, and we've talked about this at length,
we've
because I
talked
feel
about
like
this.
it's just the boss rush of Mega Man bosses. But granted, there's more to it than that. Like the
there's-
animation and stuff is good.
There's way more.
So maybe we can come to talk about it when we talk about the top 3. But are we saying Halo Wars 2's out? As polished
Like
as
I
it
said,
is.
if you're happy with Tacoma being above Halo Wars 2, then so am
Yeah.
I. 'Cause
Tacoma is better than
Alright.
Halo Wars 2.
Halo Wars is gone.
Halo Wars 2 is out of there.
So now we've got our top.
So we've got our top 3 of Xbox games. It's Cuphead, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and Tacoma, which is number 1, which is the best Xbox game this year. You need to talk about Cuphead more.
Well-
we haven't talked about it yet. What is so good about it?
Just there's nothing that is missing for me. It has everything. It's the biggest part for me is the boss. I have to admit the worst parts are those side-scrolling levels, and they're
Which is a
frustrating.
shame because they spent so much time delaying it to put them in.
And they
allegedly.
did that for that because I feel like they were misled that that's what people wanted, because people were a little upset that it was going to be all boss rush, right?
Which is what I don't like about it. So you get one side-scrolling level for like every 3 or 4 boss
something
battles.
like that. Yeah.
Which for me, I wouldn't mind so much, but they did spend all that extra time saying we're putting more platform levels
But I
in.
don't mind the time though. That's gone. It's too late. You can't talk about that
True.
now. It's in the past, right? The game's out, and all of the boss rush stuff is incredible. Every enemy's designed so well. Every
Take
phase is great. You learn from all of your mistakes. Until even one in particular, the dragon that I was talking to you about. That took me probably 3 hours, and I'm normally really short with my patience, but every time I'd get a little further and a little further, and when you die, it gives you that feedback. It shows you how far you got.
Yeah, I do like that. So it has a little line with flags that
Yep.
kind of indicate the stages, and then you can see how far you are along the way of beating the boss.
And eventually, when you do beat that
It
boss,
is satisfying.
it's amazing. You feel like you've really beaten something, and hard, because so many games these days are too easy. I know there's Dark Souls out there, but apart from that, how many
Okay.
other games do you struggle with?
So would you still feel the same way about this game if it looked like 8-bit, if it looked like Shovel Knight? Like that 8-bit that's a bit too good?
It would be. I'd still like it, but the game is so unique that that's it. There's one. there's no other games that look and feel like that to play,
This is all true. I can't argue with you.
right?
So then, is this your argument that it's the Xbox game? Because for me, I don't think PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds can win just because of the some
because of the
problems there.
jankiness.
Because
Yeah.
it's not finished.
Because it's not finished. Yeah, it can still be on the list.
I
you're gonna
know.
say?
Well, you know, some people would argue it shouldn't be on the list, but it's a game that's out. Even if
You
it's
can
preview,
buy,
it's
and
out.
You can buy boxed copies of it
Yeah.
that come with a code, so it's out on shelves now. So how do we?
So I want to say Cuphead is better than PlayerUnknown because of those
Okay.
issues.
Okay then. So PlayerUnknown's third place, and it's between Tacoma and Cuphead, which is hard. I've played both. You haven't.
Yeah, I've beaten Cuphead too, but you haven't.
And I've beaten Tacoma, and you haven't touched
Believe
it.
me, the end of it feels great. The
I
real
don't-
question is you going to concede? Are you going to let it happen? Because
But I don't feel like you're going to concede on Cuphead
I've already given you something. I gave up Halo Wars 2.
for Tacoma.
Yeah, for a game
Is
I've
that
not
how we're
even
going
played.
to?
It was
Is
just
that how
once.
we're doing this whole
Oh,
process? It's
so-
going to be a trade-off.
I gave you something, now you've got to return it.
I see how it is.
I think we're.
I'm not.
I think you're going to be okay with that.
I'm not denying that I don't. I'm not saying I don't like Cuphead, and there isn't things I love about it. I love the aesthetic. It's very committed to that style of cartoons.
Yeah.
There's some amazing things like the way the pig talks in
the
the
music
shop.
too.
I love that.
The music.
When you go to the devil guy with a devil dice guy or
dice
something
guy,
to cross
yeah.
the zones. That's what I love.
The music of the song too.
Yep, the
in
song
the
at the
background
beginning
is
where he's
great.
like rocking. It's like, and here is Cuphead.
It's so good.
Okay,
And we,
I may not have finished it. I may not like.
and we
it
haven't
or-
even touched. Like we could have done some co-op stuff on there.
This is true.
So
Okay, Cuphead is the Xbox
I'm happy, more than
game
happy,
of the year.
because it's great.
It
And
took
people
us.
should play it.
That only took us 18 minutes to decide. So, our Xbox game of the year is Cuphead. Runners up: PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds and Tacoma. Mark, we're going to hand over
Yes.
to you now to talk to us about PS4 games, and we'll kind of try our best to take part in those, even readily admitting that we have played. I've played none of them.
The same.
All right. Okay. So that's handy.
That's-
So
yeah.
I'm just going to go down and delete and discount the ones that I haven't played.
Okay.
So I haven't played Uncharted: Lost Legacy.
Okay.
I haven't played Knack 2.
Okay.
I haven't played Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Okay.
I haven't played Neo.
Okay.
I haven't played Pyre, and I haven't played Nidhogg 2.
Okay.
So, I haven't finished Persona 5, so I'm going to discount that one.
Where is
I haven't
Persona 5
finished-
in like the pantheon of them? Like I've bought it for PS3 and not started it. Like Persona 4 Golden's held up as like one of the best JRPGs of all time. Where does this fall?
Well, the diehard Persona fans prefer, I think, Persona 3
Oh, okay.
to Persona 4.
Okay.
I'm not one of them. I think 4 is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty
but what
good.
I just got distracted. What I
Yeah.
played of Persona 5 was amazing. I just got distracted and haven't got around to finishing it yet.
Okay, fair enough.
So I have to discount that one. Same deal with Nier Automata. Really, really good game, but just got distracted and haven't got around to finishing it.
Fair enough.
Are you still there?
Yeah. Are you still
Oh
there?
dear, what's happening?
You still hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Did you catch all of that?
Yep.
Yep.
We heard you saying about Nier Automata and how it's a good game, but you haven't finished it.
Okay, good. Right. Windjammers is really, really good, but I'm really, really shit at it, so I'm
Same,
going to
so-
discount that one as well.
I have played like the Neo Geo version of it, and as good a game it is, I'm bloody
Oh,
crap at
it sucks when you're playing a really good game, but you're just
Yeah.
not good at it.
Like, if you can't even beat this, you can't even beat the computer, and then when you play with somebody else, you're not playing to a high enough standard that it's actually enjoyable, kind of, because there's definitely nuance to it. And if you both can't
Even with the
catch
fight
it,
stick plugged in,
Yeah.
I'm just struggling.
if you can't even catch it, the frisbee properly, there's no point in playing.
Yakuza 0, another one I haven't finished, so I'll discount that one as well. So how many are we down to now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Lawbreakers was a really good idea.
This is the Cliffy B one, right?
Or it would have been a really good idea like 3 years ago. Unfortunately, the shooter market's kind of saturated, oversaturated. And despite the fact that it does something new and it feels a little bit more like Unreal Tournament, but with the added twist of the zero gravity thing, it just couldn't find its market, and it kind of came out, and to absolutely no fanfare whatsoever. Me and a group of people played it pretty hard for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then other games came out and Lawbreakers kind of fell by the side, which is a shame, because it's a good game, and I just imagine Cliffy B's a bit sad about everything. Nobody wants to see Cliffy B sad, right?
No.
Matterfall
Literally,
is
I've never
the
even
second
heard
of the 2 games by Housemarque that came out this year. They had a very busy
Oh,
year.
okay.
And it's sort of like a twin stick shooter crossed with a platformer, and it's good, but it's kind of, I don't know, it just lost some of the purity of some of their other games. It didn't feel like a particularly good platformer or a particularly good twin stick shooter.
Okay.
So I think they probably tried to do a little bit too much with that, and it fell a little bit flat with me, but still a good game. On the other hand, Nex Machina is like, it is the closest I think I've ever played to a perfect twin stick shooter. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Which one? What does this
hard
look
as
like?
balls,
I'm
but
trying to think
it's
what the art
incredible.
style's like for this one.
Their art styles are always kind of been the same. Do you know what Resogun looks like?
Yes, I played Resogun on the Vita. So yeah,
Sorry?
I played Resogun on the Vita.
I think did Resogun come out of Vita? No, it was a PS4. It was the PS4 launch PS Plus game.
Maybe I played PS3.
Everything's made out of
Anyway.
everything's made out of, I think they call them voxels.
Oh right, okay.
Where everything's made out of very small cubes.
I'm looking at some pictures of it.
And so
yeah.
when you shoot enemies, they explode into little cubes, and it's just an explosion of lights and it's dodging all over the place, blowing the shit out of everything, and then at the end of each level, the level just collapses into tiny cubes. You move on to the next one, and it's frantic and really hard, but really, really addictive. It's just, the gameplay loop is just so much fun that I kind of want to leave that one on there.
Okay.
Everybody's Golf is a really, really good arcade golf game. You ever played like the old Hot Shots golf games, or or even like Mario Golf or something like that? It's kind of along that sort of that sort of golf game. I really like it as a kind of a relaxing game. I don't think I'd ever think of it as like one of my favorite games of the year, though. It's just a good sort of like, I can't be bothered doing anything apart. I just want to play a round of
Chill
golf.
out
I'll
and
just
play.
load up Everybody's Golf and play 9 holes. So I'm gonna discount that one as well.
Okay, so that's your top 3.
That leaves me 3. That leaves me 3 already. Gran Turismo Sport, I absolutely love it, but it is not what people expected in a Gran Turismo game. There is next to nothing. Well, there is no like traditional campaign mode. The only single player stuff there is like arcade races against the computer, or your license tests, challenges, and this thing's called track experiences, where it will teach you each of the tracks corner by corner and then set you a challenge to complete that track within a certain time limit.
Okay.
We've heard they're going to add in like apparently quite soon, like a proper single player with the old like Sunday Cups and things like that. But at the moment, it doesn't have any of that. It is a a game that teaches you how to race online and then expects you to race online. And if you don't want to do that, then it's kind of going to be kind of shit.
Else, right?
For I really, really like it. I'm really, really enjoying it, but it's not going to be for everyone. So I'll stick that at number 3.
Okay.
I'm going to stick Next Machina at number 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn is one of the best. It's got one of the best sci-fi storylines I've come across in a video game in a long time, and that's just the icing on top of a fantastic game in terms of actual gameplay. It kind of got a little bit overlooked. Well, not overlooked, but it came out like 3 days before Zelda, and
so that didn't help. Yeah,
that didn't help.
Yeah.
Because like this game came out and then Zelda came out, and I was like, oh, that's how you do an open world game. Horizon Zero Dawn is not a bad open world game at all. It's not full of dumb collectibles. The side missions are actually enjoyable, and they actually have story arcs. It's not like, fetch quest stuff. And there's just something really, really cool about hunting down and then fighting and finally defeating a giant fuck off robot dinosaur. So
sure, what else do you want if not giant fuck off dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Aloy is a really, really enjoyable character to spend 30-40 hours playing as.
Played by Ashley Birch, right?
Sorry?
Ashley Birch plays Aloy, yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Horizon Zero Dawn is Joypads for Goalposts PS4 game of the year. We are going to move on to Switch. The games we have for Switch are Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Mario and Rabbids Battle, whatever it's called, Golf Story,
Kingdom
Battle, that's it. Golf Story, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Splatoon 2, ARMS, Mario 8 Deluxe. Gonna go out on a limb here. Don't think either of you will argue that Zelda and Mario are probably locked into this top 3.
Yep, that's the certain.
Yes.
They both extrapolated the formulas of their respective franchises out onto a bigger scale, and they were both better for it. They were both brilliant celebrations of their franchises.
Yep. Can't argue with that.
Maybe we could, if no one's going to argue that, we could lock those both in for the top 3 at least. Well, and then we can talk about them more when we get to our top 10 kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
The number 3 is a little bit trickier, I think. I would rule out Golf Story. It's a good game.
It's the only one on that list I haven't played.
Okay.
Oh, that's the same for me. I haven't touched that one either.
So I've played about 5 hours of it.
Yeah.
It's like an RPG story-based golf game. You level up, you improve stats, you do like side quests for people. It's a perfectly robust golf game. I will say though, the putting isn't too great. It can sometimes be hard to tell the level of the ground.
Yeah.
And it doesn't use a lot of, I guess, the innovations that have already like kind of appeared since 2D golf games kind of disappeared.
It's kind of odd that they got that wrong.
Like people have done all sorts of things like different colours to show the elevation levels. Like making the line wobbly. It kind of doesn't do any of that, so it kind of loses things for that. But very adorable game, very likable story. It's got a really interesting story actually. Your dad used to run a golf club, then it fast forwards 20 years and you're divorced, and you make a deal out of getting your old golf clubs back when you divorce so you can go and hit another round of golf out in the club. You're trying to help restore the club, and you go to rival golf clubs and have competitions. But yeah, it doesn't deserve third place on the list. Does anybody else have anything they particularly want to rule out that they don't think makes the top 3? As soon as I ruled one out.
I am only about 2 hours into Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
And I have it, but I haven't touched it, so...
Okay, I have not bought it because I still haven't finished Chronicles X on the Wii U.
It's the sort of game I feel like I'm going to have to wait until I know I've got a nice, clear amount of time to start.
Okay, so do we rule that out due to lack of time spent?
guess we have to.
Yeah, I think it's harsh, but I haven't had a chance to properly sit down with it and play a good amount of it yet.
Okay, so that leaves Mario and Rabbids, Splatoon 2, ARMS, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Okay, which one next? I would argue Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Why?
Why? Because it's a game that was already out before on another platform, on the Wii U. Yes, it has new stuff, but it's very, very minimal, right? It is really fun though, I have to say.
It's like the most polished version of Mario Kart you ever had. Like since the Wii version, they've been very iterative.
Yep.
And this is like the third version of that kind of Mario Kart.
It's
very
still
polished.
the best Mario Kart.
Yeah. It's about the only game Nintendo have 100% nailed online. Like you can play with your friends whenever you want.
Yep.
You can change settings when you want. You'll get to vote on the things. They finally kind of sorted out some of the weird party problems that we had on. You remember, Mark, when we played it on the Wii U, there was weird problems with people always leaving the parties and ending up in their own like weird little splinter groups kind of.
Yeah.
Managed to do away with that. So it is a polished game, but then it has been on other platforms and arguably isn't.
Yeah,
better.
it is. It's the definitive version of Mario Kart 8, but it's still a remake.
Yeah.
So.
And there's definitely better games on the list for me. So.
Okay, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is out. So that leaves us with Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Splatoon 2, and ARMS.
Okay, I know I just gave one, and we're gonna argue anyway. So you know what I'm gonna say.
You're gonna say ARMS is out.
I'm gonna say ARMS is out. Why? It's a
Really?
It's a fun game. I had it. I played it. I enjoyed it. But there's not much to it. If you the thing is for me is I'm not really into fighting games anyway. But
Likewise.
I gave it a go because it looked fun, and I got into some of the what did they call them? The test punches.
Oh yeah.
So I played some of those, and it was good enough that I went out and bought it. But there isn't enough to keep me playing. Like I could come back and maybe have a couple of fights now and then, and I know what you're going to say. They came with some more stuff.
Yeah, so they added a mode that's a bit like the Splatfests, where they pit two fighters against each other, and then if you get bonus points to help you level up, if you pick one of those fighters, and they also break it down even further. So it'll be over the course of a weekend. And if you pick certain glove combinations, you get bonus points for fighting with those glove combinations, and it's kind of tracking the results of everyone that fights with those fighters and those different glove combinations. You get badges for taking part in those things and doing different types of matches. Also, one thing I find interesting that does add to the longevity, if you want to dip in and out every time there's an update, it tracks your stats almost by season. So like there's update 1, 2, 3 and 4 at the moment it's up to, and like it has a stat screen where you can scroll through and compare your records in each of the different versions, which I find pretty cool. Like it's interesting. It does kind of motivate you to go back and think, right, I'm going to play a bunch of games and try and beat my previous season's record. It is very old school in its bare bones. Like its story mode is an arcade mode in the most traditional sense. It's just one fight after another. I will say there is variety though, because in the multiplayer mode it just throws you all in a room, and then it just randomly pits people against each other, and you can drop in and out, and it has the regular fights.
Some of those modes aren't the greatest.
It has the basketball one, and then it has that target one. So there is a bit of variety. And it has the volleyball, which is, I think, horrendous.
And
then it has the ones where you're tethered together with somebody else who's usually a knobhead and stands in your way and blocks your punches. I don't know. I think maybe there's other games that are better for 3, but I do think ARMS is really good.
Well, we could leave it on there for now.
We can leave it on there for now, and
if you're alright with it.
I'm gonna make a possibly controversial argument.
Oh no.
I play a lot more Splatoon 2 than ARMS, but maybe ARMS is more deserving to be on the list than Splatoon 2, because Splatoon 2 is more like Splatoon 1.5.
You two are going to argue that, but I didn't play Splatoon, so for me to go into
fresh.
It's a completely new game for me. So it's like,
and they did do a lot of new stuff in the single player, to be fair.
Oh, but the single player, I've beat that, and although that's fresh for me, it is all very samey all the way through. You're led down a linear path to a boss. Yeah, the bosses were interesting, but it was kind of the same thing, going over and over.
Yeah, and I guess
it's not very memorable. I can tell you that.
The last boss was actually kind of the same boss as the first game.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
was saying.
Like, it's pretty identical to like the last phase.
But the online is where Splatoon is at for me.
But then it could be argued that ARMS has the same community, and they're both very simple ideas at heart.
Yeah, they are.
I feel like ARMS definitely does for fighters what Splatoon does for shooters. It makes it accessible. It is accessible.
You're right,
like, you can play with motion controls and stuff, and people with motion controls can play well against people using a controller in ARMS.
Yeah, I play with motion controls.
Yeah, you see, and I don't.
No, I couldn't.
I tried them once and didn't
I've
like
tried.
it. But then I played against you, Mark, and we've had it's been a while, but we've had very competitive games knowing that I'm using a Pro controller and you're using motion controls, which is a cool place to be in because there's not many instances where we've ever seen that in competitive games. Okay. Let's talk about Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle then.
Okay, I guess we got to give them all three of them a fair shot.
Yeah, so we talked about the other two. I think, there's arguments for both for Splatoon and ARMS. So let's talk about Mario and Rabbids. It's a really good game. The sense of humour is like spot on.
Have we all beaten it though?
I've beaten it.
I haven't beaten it, no.
Same.
But
I haven't
played
beaten it either.
The vast majority of
So
it.
it gets bloody hard towards the end. Those the Rabbids that have the tombstones, that when you hit them and run through, there's some levels where there's like 5 of them gunning for you.
Oh god.
And then they introduce these enemies with like shields that you can only shoot from the side, and it gets very tactical, it gets very tricky.
Yeah.
A lot of people said it's like a XCOM Lite when it was announced, but I think that's doing it a discredit. It's a bloody good XCOM game, XCOM type game, and some of the ways like as you progress through the game, like the abilities you can get and how you can combo those together, like the way you can slide into people. Like Rabbid Mario has a thing where he slides into one and it'll explode and set everyone else on fire. Peach has a thing where you throw her up in the air and she'll land, and when she lands she heals people, so it's kind of cool how you can like parachute her into, if you've sent somebody further ahead, you can like parachute her in to like save them and heal them.
Yeah.
The like active fire system thing where you can kind of rifle off shots when it's their turn's really cool. It's a really good game, but I don't know, neither of you two finished it.
Like for me,
did you not finish it through a lack of trying, or just because you've been busy, or?
Oh, for me it's just because I feel like I've reached a point where it's just a little too repetitive for me.
Yeah, so
well, I knew what I was getting when I bought it.
So other than, because I beat it the day before Mario Odyssey came out, so other than like racing through it for a couple of days there, I played it in small chunks to kind of stop that happening.
Yeah.
Because there isn't much in the way of story. It's just kind of joke to joke you kind of bounce from. The Rabbids were like adding the Rabbids like turning into Nintendo characters, added a new like layer of humour to them, kind of differentiated them from Minions a little bit because they're very similar otherwise. Added personality, like Rabbid Peach is hilarious. She's always taking selfies of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it might be more between Splatoon 2 and ARMS.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Mark, any disagreements with that? Would you bat for Mario and Rabbids over Splatoon 2 or ARMS? This is tough.
I think Mario and Rabbids is a really good game. It's a really, really good twist on it. It's definitely one of the surprises of the year. Really good twist on the XCOM style cover-based, turn-based squad shooter thing.
Yeah.
ARMS, really, really good twist on the fighting game genre. I had more fun with Splatoon 2 than either of those games this year.
I think we should take it to a vote because there's 3 of them. We all choose the one that we want to be up in that top 3, and we go with the majority. Unless we all choose different games, then we're screwed.
I think we can maybe rule out Mario Rabbids.
You think so? I'm just going to say my vote's going to be for Splatoon 2.
Okay. Mark, if we put it down to a vote, what would you vote for?
Don't you going to get a decided vote?
No.
Yes, you are.
That's not how I'm trying to set it up.
Splatoon 2.
Okay, so Splatoon, if we were to...
What would you have voted for if we would...
So I would rule out Mario Rabbids. So
Okay.
neither of you voted for that. I'm not, so I've just crossed it out.
Yeah.
ARMS is really good. Like, I don't... So I should preface this with, I don't like... I'm crap at fighting games in general, but I like them. But I don't like 3D fighting games at all, with the possible exception of Soul Calibur. Like, if I'm playing a fighting game, I'm playing like the newer Mortal Kombat, so like 3D rendered, but it's still on a 2D plane, kind of. ARMS made a 3D fighting game that's accessible, and it should be celebrated for that. But enough to be third place, I'm not sure. I think Splatoon 2 maybe just edges it, but I hate to say it. I hate... Splatoon 2, like, online shooters are extremely tough game to play and be good at.
Mm-hmm.
Splatoon 2
Makes
levels
everyone
the
feel great.
playing field. Everyone feels good. It also, we haven't even talked about what's that mode where the salmon run.
Oh,
Salmon
yeah.
Run,
That's a really good like evolution of like a horde mode, basically. Like you're collecting eggs, and it's not about how many eggs. It's not about surviving the waves and killing all the enemies. It's about collecting eggs and returning them to that little pot. It's quite clever how it rotates the weapons each round. Like it makes you learn new weapons whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And then that all levels up. The Splatfests are really cool. You get things depending on what level you get to in the Splatfests. There's one thing we've not talked about is how good the weapons are. Like, there's a really diverse range of weapons. It's not like a COD where it's just like, okay, this is another type of gun. It's like, there's like the dualies that help you do like rolls. There's the buckets that you just splosh paint everywhere. There's the rollers where you can run. There's different types of guns that are more accurate. There's different types of guns that just splatter everywhere at a really fast rate.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all come with their own like perks that are all really different to each other as well.
Yeah.
So I think basically what I'm saying here by talking this
That's
way
what I was going to
is
say.
this Splatoon 2.
So then we've got
arms
three.
up. So we've got a top three. Now we've got to decide a winner.
I've already got my 1, 2, and 3. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I bet you actually, if we
you can
if we
guess
could
mine.
count to 3, I'll count to 3, and I think we could all say what our number 1 is, and it'll possibly be the same. So should
Possibly.
should we try that, Mark? So I'm gonna on 3.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
On 3, we'll all say what our number 1 Switch game of the year is. So 1, 2, 3, Zelda.
Zelda.
Yeah, okay. So Zelda is our Switch game of the year, with runners-up Mario Odyssey and Splatoon 2.
Mario would be my second, by
Yeah.
far.
Yeah, well, we cut out
Yeah.
them at the beginning, arguably. So multi-platform. This is where we think we belaboured the point talking about Switch. Multi-platforms where things can get a little bit messier. So we've got quite a long list here. I added a bunch of stuff on here. I added some stuff that I knew Chris had played, and then Mark, I know you went and added a bunch of other games on here too. So I'm just going to read down the list, and then we'll take it from there. Kind of see. I think there's some obvious outliers in here that could be ruled out pretty early on.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll read through the list anyway. So Assassin's Creed Origins, not oranges, as people like to say. Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, Call of Duty World War 2, Destiny 2, South Park Fractured But Whole, Resident Evil 7, The Fractured But Whole, sorry. Resident Evil 7, Shadow of War, Stardew Valley, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Sonic Mania, Yooka-Laylee, Prey, Injustice 2, What Remains of Edith Finch, Rime, Mass Effect Andromeda, Space Plan, For Honor, Night in the Woods, Ghost Recon Wildlands, Snake Pass, Puyo Puyo Tetris, The Surge, Tekken 7, Dishonored, The Death of the Outsider, Little Nightmares, and Fortnite. So quite the list. I guess there's a lot of games on this list that have had controversy over the year which may rule them out. I would start with Shadow of War. It has a lot of loot crate nonsense.
Okay.
So you finish the main story. The credits don't roll, but you do finish the story and you do get an achievement or trophy for beating the story. And after then, it kind of has this conquest mode where you have to conquest 10 kingdoms in succession to finish the game and get. It's called the Shadow Wars. The problem it has is all of the orcs and stuff you're fighting against are significantly higher level than you. You're talking about an extremely long grind to get orcs that can beat them in battle to help defend each fortress, because if you lose one fortress, it makes you go back and win it over again. You can't. It's not just a case of winning the 10 and done.
So, yeah.
You've got to have all 10 in sequence, all at the same time.
Oh god, that sounds like they want you to buy something to make sure that happens.
And it constantly pushes you towards buying loot crates throughout the entire single player game, because the menu option is always glowing, because there's always the option to buy them, and it gives you little bits of the paid currency during the game to kind of show you how good it could be. And it does. I tried it. I was like, I know I'm not going to play this mode. I will buy them. And when you buy crates, you do get better orcs and better weapons and stuff. Also, as a whole, it's a little bit laboured. Like, they blew out how many outposts and fortresses and stuff you have to conquer, and it feels too long.
Maybe like they've padded it a little.
And the story missions are all super uninspired. Where that game really wins is all that political stuff between you and the orcs, and them reappearing, you killing them, them mentioning things that had happened before, the orcs having their own weird relationships and randomly showing up and fighting each other. Working out the nuances of like what their strengths are and weaknesses are. That's where all the game comes in. But as a whole, I think it's pretty weak.
Well, since I own it but haven't played it yet, I'm fine with taking it off.
You have any argument for Shadow of War, Mark?
Nah, fuck it.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Mark hates Shadow of War because of some of the canon decisions they made.
Okay.
Completely forgot about that. He wrote a whole article on that Skamer about...
it got so much worse after I'd written the article.
Yeah, they did make other changes too. I don't know how far you know, but they make the ending's one big like what the fuck thing. So yeah.
Yeah. No, and I know the identity that they decided to reveal of two of the Nazgul, and what utter nonsense that is.
Yeah. Okay.
That one's gone.
Shadow War's gone from this very long list.
Good. Can we, while we're at it, just get rid of Star Wars Battlefront 2?
Okay. I own it. I've played it. I've beaten it. And I'm more than happy to get rid of it. The online I still like, even though the progression is absolute garbage.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the gameplay, the online game, that's the worst thing about it, is the online gameplay is really good.
Yeah.
The campaign was too short, didn't feature the main character enough, and was finished on a rather crappy cliffhanger.
Yep.
The progression system is absolutely fucked, but the actual gameplay of moment-to-moment gameplay in a multiplayer match is great, but it's not enough to save it.
No, I agree.
Okay, Star Wars Battlefront 2 is gone. So
good.
I haven't played it outside.
It had so much potential, and that's what it ended up as.
Should we just get Sonic Mania off the list now as well?
Oh
no!
I knew Adam was going to fight for that one.
Everyone knows. Anyone who knows me on the internet knows I'm a raging 2D Sonic fanboy. That's staying for now. Whether it makes the top 3, I ain't too sure.
I don't know. We'll see about that.
I'm going to say, I don't know if either of you have played it, but Prey. It'd actually be on my most disappointing games of the year. Like, I love like immersion sims, so like Bioshock and stuff. Those like shooters that have RPG mechanics in a like unique world. Prey certainly has a unique world and stuff, but it wasn't anything
so it's
special.
Done.
Didn't
finish
what we're saying. It's done. Injustice 2, Mark. I know I've played I bought it when it was on sale Black Friday digitally. Xbox sale. I've played like 10 minutes of it. It seems very similar to the Mortal Kombat X, just with DC characters.
Yeah, pretty much. Expanded upon the first Injustice. Added a lot more single player content in there, so if you're garbage at that game like I am, then you never have to venture online.
Yeah, like they've
There's the
absolutely
infinite
nailed the
worlds
story
thing.
modes, haven't they? Like, I
The
feel
story
like-
modes are fantastic and very replayable, but then there's also like the infinite worlds thing where you can play through alternate story,
Oh, okay.
an almost infinite number of alternate story paths,
Oh,
and
that sounds
earn the
interesting.
loot boxes, because yes, it's got loot boxes.
Of course.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's got like cosmetic stuff that actually buffs your character. So then if you play online, that stuff just becomes cosmetic and they get rid of the buffs and whatnot. So the whole thing's a bit dumb. You can buy the loot boxes, but it just throws them at you at such a ridiculous rate. I don't understand why you ever would.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a really good fighting game. I'm still shit at it though.
And you bought a fight stick, or did you have that before this? I forget.
No, I know. I got the fight stick for this.
Okay. And you still share it. Oh, we lost him. Hello?
Sorry, did you say something?
Yeah, sorry.
You're breaking up a lot at the moment.
Oh, okay. I said you still shit at it.
Yes, I'm still shit at it. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you guys are just dropping out every few seconds for
okay.
a second or so.
Weird. I don't
So
know why.
I'm not hearing everything that you say.
Okay. I will just check that nothing else is going on my computer. No, it just says my CPU usage is high. Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay, so we'll rule out Injustice anyway.
Yeah. That's fine.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Gone.
Didn't go on. Get rid of it. Don't even
Finished
finish
it. Has an amazing ending that it doesn't earn. I will say that.
I played 2 or 3 hours of it, had enough of it, and gave up forever. So
Okay. Rhyme.
I played a fair bit of it, maybe 2 hours. It's a great game, very linear, confusing puzzles sometimes. I'm definitely going to go back and finish it. But is it Game of the Year for me or close to it?
No.
Probably not. It's another one of those.
Yeah, I finished it. It's not great. It doesn't get any better. It kind of stays the same all the way through.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely going to pick it up on Switch when they fixed it. 'Cause
Patch it,
apparently
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a bit broken.
Yeah. Okay. Rhyme's out then.
Yep.
Space Plan. Really good clicker game.
Yeah.
It's one that actually hasn't like a beginning, middle, and end. It has a story to it. It's not one of these where you're just picking up money endlessly. It's about a like sentient race of potatoes, and you're trying to help them get home. It has a lot of like what the fuck moments, but it's not. I don't think it makes the list unless either of you have played it and want to argue otherwise.
I'm not arguing. I've never played it.
I have played it. It's pretty fun, but
Yeah.
it's not Game of the Year.
Okay, it's out. For Honor, I didn't play this outside of the beta, so I don't really have an opinion on it.
No, I didn't play it at all.
Another really interesting take on the fighting game genre, really. A lot of the coverage before and concentrated on the sort of like 4v4 with bots, capture the 3 points, control points sort of mode. But the core, I thought, of that game was just 1v1 duels.
Yep.
And at that point, it became kind of like a fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. It's just stock full of microtransactions and loot boxes and a season pass and a almost non-existent player base. So it's kind of hampered.
Okay, it's out.
Boom.
Night in the Woods. Only came out on Xbox yesterday. I've played exactly 10 minutes of it.
So you put this on this list, didn't you?
No, I think Mark added this to
Oh,
the
yeah?
list.
Yeah, I just put it on the list. I figured that one of you guys would have played
What's
it.
it about?
Is you play a cat.
A cat?
And it's like
yes,
a
yeah.
side,
Dude, I'm already in.
Yes.
This Game of the Year.
so side-scrolling.
I really
kinda
want
like,
to play it. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, it's a
just haven't got around to playing it
side-scrolling
yet.
narrative, like platformer almost, but more
Yeah.
emphasis on the narration than the platforming.
Yeah.
And it's in a very like dour kind of world. Like I think like the cat. It's like almost like BoJack the Horseman sense of sensibility, kind of, but a
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
more depressing. It looks really good. I played 10 minutes of it. It's fun, but yeah, I haven't played enough of it for it to stay on this list.
Yeah.
It just came out on Xbox. It's been out on PS4 for a while, and it's also on PC. So yeah, it's out. Ghost Recon Wildlands. I did not play this. I played I guess there was a beta of it, but its release date, it was so close to Zelda. I think it was out the week before Zelda or the week after. I just didn't bother with it.
It looks good, but I haven't played it either, so.
It was an interesting concept. Kind of like, the Tom Clancy third-person stealth sort of game, but in an open world. Up to 4 players can play it co-op at any time. But again, it's had an overpriced season pass. It's suffered from the Ubisoft open world, like too many things
General
to do,
fatigue, yep.
too many icons on the map. And again, it just didn't really have a player base.
Okay, I think we'll rule it out.
Yep.
Snake Pass.
Have we all played that one?
I've played Snake Pass on the Switch.
You beat it?
I have not beat it.
I know why. Because it's
It's
frustrating.
bloody hard.
I haven't been it for that very reason, because it's the controls, I feel like even after like 2 hours, I still find myself struggling. So, yeah.
You played it, Mark?
No.
Okay. We will rule it out. It's a good game. It's a return to like that old school kind of platform game. It looks quite nice. It's made in Unreal Engine.
Yeah, it looks good.
But let's rule it out. Now, this is a good game. We've all played this. Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Oh, yes.
So I've only played it. I imported the Xbox One version quite a while ago. Played it in Japanese.
With Science Bear.
With Science
And friends.
Bear, yeah. Dr. Science Bear. It's since come out on PS4 and Switch this year. And it's a bloody good game. It seamlessly mashes up Tetris and Puyo Puyo in a variety of twisted ways that make for super frantic gameplay. But is it one of the best multi-platform games of the year? I'm not sure. I think it could probably stay on there for a while.
Sure.
Longer. What do you think, Mark?
I really, really like it. I already loved Tetris, and I really like a competitive battle Tetris mode. It's teaching me to play Puyo Puyo because I'd never really got Puyo Puyo, and it does some really interesting things like the mode where you're playing Tetris and then it flips to playing Puyo Puyo and then back to Tetris, and then the other mode where you're playing Tetris and Puyo Puyo on one board at the same time. And it's really, really frantic and great fun, and the story mode is just absolutely insane. Online is impossible because
people are mad.
The only people who seem to be able to play it online are like, Tetris and Puyo Puyo geniuses, and so I just get stomped every time. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I've put like 20 or 30 hours into it in like small bite-sized chunks because I come back to it at least once a week, every week, just for a little nibble.
Yeah, I say it stays there for now.
Yeah.
The Surge, so futuristic Dark Souls type game.
By the people who made oh god, what was it
Lords
called?
of the Fallen.
That Dark Souls ripoff.
Yeah, that was free on Xbox Live.
Yeah, Lords of the
point,
Fallen.
right?
Yeah.
That's Lords of the Fallen. Yeah, it was they gave it free on PS Plus a while ago as well. I think they gave it away on Games of Gold. It's by that studio. I've heard good things about it and also bad things, which was the same case with Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the problem when you try and ape what From Software do and you're not From Software. It doesn't always work.
Yeah, for
Neo
sure.
apparently does work. Lords of the Fallen didn't, and the Surge, whilst being an interesting twist on it, didn't work either apparently.
Okay, I think maybe we can rule it out. I didn't play it.
I didn't play either, so
Okay. Tekken 7. Did anyone play Tekken 7?
negative.
I played a bit.
And
It's good. It's Tekken. It's good, but it was again hampered by some serious issues. A lot of which got raised in professional fighting game scene around about the time it came out.
Okay.
But it's it's Tekken. If you like Tekken, then it's more Tekken.
Is it? We already ruled out Injustice 2. Is it better than Injustice 2 to warrant a place
No.
on the list? Okay, it's
No.
out. Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. I have not played this. I've never even beaten the first Dishonored, despite owning it twice.
Oh man,
I need to get on it. I know.
I haven't played Death of the Outsider yet. It's sat on my PS4 waiting to play over the Christmas break. But Dishonored 2, if I had played it in time to get it on the Game of the Year list last year, it would have been on my Games of the Year list last year.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore Dishonored 2. I love the first one, and the second one I absolutely adore. And this I'm really looking forward to play. But also a little bit trepidatious because I think that it's probably the end of the franchise.
You think? Oh, because it didn't sell well, or?
The first one sold okay, nowhere near as well as it should have. The second one sold significantly less than the first one, despite being a better game. And it was just came out in a crowded window.
Yeah. Okay, we'll rule it out.
It's gone.
With a notable.
I hadn't played it,
With
so
a
we're
notable, I guess, notable note. I don't know. It's probably a good game because all the rest have been extremely polished. Little Nightmares, is that 2D platform where you're the person in a yellow cloak?
It's not.
It's yes, 3D.
Oh, okay.
It's by Tarsia, who did Little Big Planet 3 and did some work for Little Big Planet 2. And it's kind of like that if it was filtered through Tim Burton and Silent Hill.
Oh, okay.
If that makes any sense.
No, that sounds good, actually.
Did you beat it?
No, because I got a significant way through it. And then my PS4 copy of it blue screened.
Oh, great.
Sent back to the dashboard, and when I went back in, it had obviously been part way through saving because it saves at the end of every screen.
Yeah.
And the save file was corrupted, so I've had to start again. But I've gotten most of the way through it, and I think it's a really, really good, if horrifically twisted.
It's
3D
super
puzzle
scary
platform.
when one of the big guys comes chasing after you, right?
Yes, especially there's one near the beginning called the janitor who's got long arms.
Yeah.
He can't see, but he can smell and he can hear, and he's got really creepy long arms. And when you're getting chased by him, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's a really good game, really good game.
Yeah,
I don't know why I didn't finish it earlier in the year.
Yeah.
But coming back to it again recently has made me realise that it's a cracking little game.
Yep, I did get about 3/4 of the way through too, but I got distracted maybe by another game, so I still have to go back to it. But I enjoyed every second I played of it. So
yeah,
enough to keep it on the list, or
I don't know. I'd say for now, because we could just come back to it.
Okay. So the last game, I guess there's a few big hitters towards the top that we haven't touched yet.
Yeah.
But the last game, just working our way down the list, is Fortnite. So I've only played the Battle Royale mode of it, which is free, and it's the player unknown battleground kind of mode. With the exception that you can still build in it, which is pretty cool because you can make like dynamic cover as you go along. Mark, I believe you own it, so you've played more of the regular mode.
The Founders Pack. I mean, the Battle Royale mode's kind of overshadowed the main body of the game because they just kind of put the Battle Royale mode together just as a bit of a laugh and threw it out there for free, and it's kind of exploded. It's one of the I think it's still currently one of the more popular games to stream on Twitch, and a lot of people talking about it. But the main game itself is really good. It takes that like loot aspect and the building aspects and turns it into a sort of like tower defense / horde mode sort of game. So most levels you'll go out into a world with up to 3 other players, run around, do some exploration, find crafting materials, find survivors, craft traps and weapons and things like that, then get to an objective and activate it, and then have to fight off wave after wave of zombies or whatever they're supposed to be. And you build your defenses and you you put traps on your defenses, and it's really, really good. I really like it. It's got some problems. The menus are absolute nightmare, and that's one of the big problems they need to fix, because it's still it's not out officially until next year, so it's not finished. It still needs quite a lot of work. No idea. This has been a while since I played the main mode, because Battle Royale's kind of taken over a bit. No idea what the end game's going to look like. But the Battle Royale mode on its own is really good.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's the shooting, as from what I understand from people who played that and PUBG, is nowhere near as good as it is in PUBG, and I didn't expect it to be any other way. But it's got the added, thing of the base building, and recently they've added for a short while the 50 versus 50 mode. So it's the same sort of thing where everyone jumps off the battle bus, and then the maps, the safe area in the map slowly shrinks. But instead of it being free for all, last man standing, it's 2 teams of 50 facing up against each other. So you get these little firefights where people are building like small impromptu forts in the middle of nowhere and just shooting against each other, almost like trench warfare. And it's really cool. It's a really cool little game. It's got some problems, but nothing that can't be fixed by the time it's out officially. And the Battle Royale mode was just a freebie for everyone.
Yeah, whether you owned any part of it or not.
Yeah.
So does it deserve to stay on for now, or is that little talk about it kind of enough, and it's like, yeah, it's okay, but it's still like a work in progress that needs to be improved kind of thing?
I'm a little bit reluctant to keep it on because it isn't finished.
Okay.
And I've not played it, so
okay, it's out of there. We're done. Okay. So we've sort of narrowed the list down a bit, so I'm just going to read through where we're up to with the list, and I guess we'll maybe talk out some of these other games and see if we can argue about which ones shouldn't be on here. So we have Assassin's Creed Origins, Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, Call of Duty World War 2, Destiny 2, South Park: The Fractured But Whole, Resident Evil 7, Stardew Valley, Sonic Mania, Yooka-Laylee, and What Remains of Edith Finch, Puyo Puyo Tetris, and Little Nightmares. So still got a lot of games to get down to 3.
There's one I think we could get rid of right away, though.
What?
Call of Duty World War 2.
Okay. Mark, do you have any argument? I know you've played quite a bit of Call of Duty World War 2. Is there enough in there to say it should be against these other games?
Me?
Yeah.
I haven't played much of the campaign. I haven't played much of the zombies. The multiplayer is good. The loot box stuff is ridiculous. The having to open them in the social space and then dropping from the sky, and everyone around you can see them, and there's sometimes daily challenges for watching people open loot boxes, and all that stuff is bollocks. But it's only really cosmetic stuff, and you might get a special version of a gun that gives you like a 10% XP boost, which is kind of game changing in a way, but also not massively. It's the same as any other COD, really. You can't fault it, even though they sell like a separate season pass for a map packs. You can't fault them for not giving you a like big package. There's a lot of stuff in there. The campaign is probably very short, but a big budget popcorn campaign. Zombies mode is zombies mode, and there's plenty of multiplayer modes in there to play, and plenty of maps in the base game. But it's not exactly a game changer. It was nice to see them go back. It's the most fun I've had with a COD multiplayer since Modern Warfare, but it's still COD. Nothing really new about it.
Okay, I think we said our piece, and that's probably enough to rule it out.
Yeah, it's the first one I've not bought for years. I just can't do it anymore. So.
I'm going to say, as good as it is, and as much as an homage to old platformers, Yooka-Laylee is not better than 3 other games on this list.
And it doesn't live up to Banjo-Kazooie, that's for sure. Not even close.
And it's kind of like...
For me, anyway.
they could, like, Mario shows how far 3D platformers have progressed. I'm not saying Ukulele was trying to be that same,
Yeah.
but a lot of the things in terms of like controls and stuff, it's not even close. Like the controls feel so restrictive. They could have worked more on the controls. It had a bunch of problems at launch with the camera angles being terrible, and they had to patch it. So I don't think Ukulele.
I heard
should be
that
here.
it's very good on Switch.
Yeah, I think it only just came
there
out
was
this
a-
week. Yeah.
Yeah, there was an article on Eurogamer about how it's like Switch is the perfect fit for ukulele, and it's better on ukulele than it was on the other platforms.
Yeah.
But I haven't played any of it outside of a demo at Eurogamer last year, and it just didn't have any of the personality and any of the charm of those old
No.
3D like mascot platformers.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It has its funny moments and stuff, but
It does. They tried to make another Banjo-Kazooie game without those two characters, and
No, what made
it's
it?
just exactly what you expected it to be, but nothing more.
Okay. Is there anything else anyone else wants to rule out, or is there anything like someone wants to like
think-
hard bat for and say this is a top 3 game?
I think now that we've got to this, I would be willing to give up Little Nightmares if Mark is to.
Okay.
I would be willing to give up Destiny 2.
Oh, me too.
Okay, I wouldn't argue that. I had a lot of fun with it. I played it through, but then I think there has to be an acceptance that yes, they made it more accessible for newcomers, but some of the end game bullshit that they pulled with the DLC, which I know they now reversed. The thing
Yes.
about the XP,
Well, some of it.
yeah, they still kept
They
some
can't
of it.
reverse the fact that the DLC is massively disappointing.
Yeah, yeah. Which is the same pattern that the first Destiny followed. It took them until Taken King to have something that people found truly compelling and wanted to play.
And you think they'd learn, but they haven't. I dropped off Destiny 2 once I'd done the raid a couple of times. I dropped off it hard, whereas the first Destiny kept me hooked for like 6 months.
Yeah.
I played the Curse of Osiris for 2 evenings. I was very disappointed with the storyline, and then when I realised there wasn't really anything past the storyline, I just jacked it in, and I haven't actually booted it up since.
Okay, Destiny 2's out then.
Sorry, Bungie, you done fucked it.
Now it's going to get tricky.
Did either of you play What Remains of Edith Finch?
No,
No.
Okay,
it's gone.
bloody fantastic game. Again, like Tacoma, narrative-based first-person game. What is fascinating about it is you play a character called Edith Finch, and she's going back to her family home, and her family's had quite a traumatic past and stuff. And you explore the house. It's a bit like Gone Home, how there's like little cubby holes and stuff, but each bedroom you explore of a different family member has some sort of like fantasy to it, and there's lots of like hidden walls and stuff the exploring, and then you kind of get a chance to explore the backstory of each family member, and when you do that, each family member's story has a unique gameplay mechanic. There was a Game Maker's Toolkit video on the best levels of 2017, and he talked about one where you play he's called Lewis Finch, and it's playing from a first person view, and he works in a fish factory, kind of chopping heads off fish ready to be sold. And as you're doing, you've got two mechanics working side by side. It's really cool. So you're chopping up fish with a head, but as you're doing that, the character's also imagining like a top down like Zelda game, and you have to control the top down Zelda game at the same time as maintaining chopping the fish, and you can't progress in the top down like Zelda game until you can't leave the cutting the fish.
Yeah,
it's kind of meant to represent his imagination. Each one has a different mechanic like that. It's like some way you play animals and stuff. It's really cool. Again, characters you super get invested in, whether it's through like Edith's musings about them, whether it's through playing of them, whether it's through like reading letters they left. It's really cool, and it kind of has that like childhood wonder of like exploring. Like some of the rooms you go into and they're amazing. There's like one that's kind of got from a child who's obsessed with like space travel, and it's all like space themed. It's really cool. I don't think it's going to stick on here just because neither of you played it, And I already kind of
Are you holding on to it for now?
I kind of batted for Tacoma hard. I'm not. I think What Remains of Edith Finch is a better game than Tacoma, which
you're
is
gonna have
hard.
a rough time because you've already got Sonic Mania hanging on there, and now you've got another one. So
I'm going to say What Remains of Edith Finch is out, but it's a brilliant game.
all right, cool.
Does somebody else want to bat for another game or rule one out?
I think, as much as I think Little Nightmares is a really cool little game, and I love the art style, and it's got some really interesting puzzles in it. It's got some problems as well, and it also, I don't think, really does anything new that Inside or even Limbo before it.
Okay.
Yeah,
it does look very inside-y.
Yeah, they did take those ideas and make it into their own kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can get rid of that. I'm happy with that too.
Okay.
Have either of you played South Park?
No,
Neither of you.
I haven't. I don't know about Mark.
I haven't played it, no.
How hard do you want to bat for it? How good is it?
It is a very good game. I played very little of the first game, but this game I beat, and you know how often I really push to beat games, and this took me like 3-4 sittings maybe. And it's just so funny that you always want to keep pushing forward to find out what happens next. And it's never what you expect. It's always something random and always something more ridiculous that you just can't believe what's happening. Like, it's such a good game. Even I'm very surprised at the battle system too, because they changed it to make it more like grid-like than it was before. I think before it was just turn-based.
Turn-based.
So it's still
a bit like Paper Mario, where you could hit like buttons to...
Yep.
do
but
extra stuff.
This is still turn-based, but now you've got like you can move around the grid, and each player, like each of your characters, can move. Like some of them can move further than others, and of course, as you play through the game, you get more and more characters that join your team. So you can pick out which ones you want to bring into each battle, depending on who you're going to face in the battle. So
this sounds a lot like Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle,
it is
like a turn-based, grid-based game, but with humor.
Actually, they do have like obstacles and stuff sometimes in each fight. Like sometimes there's barrels that will catch fire if you like hit them from a distance and hurt like enemies in that area. There's stuff like there's other things like that too, where you can like find cover behind something so that they have to come around to get you first. But yeah, like it's a really good game. But since neither of you've played it, like I'm more than willing to let it go, because I can't bat for it when there's other big games there that we're going to argue about too. So, especially since no one's gonna. Yeah, I'm sure I'll let it slide.
Okay. Even though it's a game you finished and you don't finish a lot of games.
Even though.
I'm just checking. We can leave it on there for now. Or if you're willing to let it go.
Let it go. It's gone.
Okay. South Park Fractured Butthole is gone.
Have either of you two beaten Assassin's Creed Origins?
No.
No.
I'm like 10 hours into it, I'd say, and I'm barely
like,
anywhere into the story because I keep getting distracted.
Yeah, and I'm maybe like 2 or 3 hours in.
It's a really good Assassin's Creed game, though, I think. Like, it benefited from that time off.
Yep.
Yes. I've finished it. I've done some of the end game content. I'm a sucker for the Assassin's Creed franchise anyway. This is the one I have the most fun with since Black Flag. It's made a lot of changes in the right direction. It's still got a few bugs. It's made a lot of changes in the right direction. I don't know whether it should be in the top 3 though.
Okay.
See, I've only played that 2 or 3 hours, but I think it should be up there, because from what I can tell and from reviews and what people are saying about it, it's a really big game, and it feels good. Like
it is. It's the most beautiful open world I think Ubisoft have ever created.
Oh,
sure,
by far.
Yeah.
I couldn't let it go yet though.
And the storyline's really interesting. There's some really awkward shoehorning of characters into historical events.
Yeah, I just met...
Yeah, you know, you always get that with Assassin's Creed.
I just met Cleopatra at like some sexy party, which was a bit weird.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And there is some. I've always been a bit of a nerd when it comes to like ancient Roman history, and there's a pivotal moment in ancient Roman history that one of the main characters is shoehorned into in this, and that make me like, oh dear. But overall, I really really liked it, and it's the first time. The first time in a long time that I played an Assassin's Creed game that didn't have a really, really let down ending and a dumb boss fight.
yeah, because they always kind of just end on a bit of a flat note, don't they? They're really bad at endings.
Yeah.
I do have one thing to ask you, having finished it. I found the couple of scenes I've had where I've been back in the present day have been super interesting. Do they do anything with that? Like, I think the premise is pretty interesting.
Yes and no,
Okay.
but I don't know whether anything else will happen further on because there's lots of endgame stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know. It kind of goes somewhere, but not fully. And I don't know whether it'll do anything more later on. I don't know whether there is any later on. I don't know how extensive the end game is. There is an end game, so that's more than Assassin's Creed games had before. But it's sort of like a light version of what you would get in a proper RPG.
Interesting. Okay. So Mark's finished it and saying we get rid of it. I've played 10 hours and I'm kind of on the fence. Chris has played less than that, but is saying he's not willing to get rid of it.
No. I say I'd be okay if we got rid of it. I personally really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I finished it and I've done a chunk of endgame content, and I've no interest in deleting it off my hard drive because I'm going to want to jump in from time to time and play it and just spend some time in that world, which I haven't done since Black Flag. I didn't really want to spend any time in Syndicate and whatever the hell the other one was called.
Unity.
So yeah. I mean, I'm not going to fight particularly hard for it, but I'm happy for it to stay in.
Okay. I think before we rule that out, I can probably say we'll rule out Resident Evil 7. I loved it, but I don't think either of you played it.
No, not yet.
No, I
plan
haven't played
to.
it, and I probably never will. First-person horror games.
It's a brilliant game. It's really well paced. It looks fantastic. They took the best bits of Resident Evil 1 and kind of mashed them with like Outcast, Amnesia, Outlast, Amnesia, Soma, those kind of things. Mash that sort of survival horror first-person aesthetic. Bit of PT, Silent Hills demo stuff in there. It is let down in some places. It has a couple of wonky boss battles, but it's really good. It's a brilliant self-contained story that also does tie into the wider Resident Evil like mythos. Neither of you two have played it, so I think we can rule that one out.
We're getting pretty close.
But I love it. It's like super high on my personal top 10.
Yeah.
So we are down to 5 games. So Assassin's Creed Origins, Wolfenstein 2, Stardew Valley, Sonic Mania, and Puyo Puyo Tetris.
I guess we should talk about the one that we haven't talked about yet.
Well, there's a few.
Stardew
Valley.
For sure.
You think that's a lock-in for a top 3? That came out on Switch this year. It was out on other platforms late last year.
I did play, maybe 5 or 6 hours on Xbox, and I do love it, but then I stopped because I knew it was coming to Switch. Yeah. And I have bought it for Switch, but I haven't started yet. But I know I love that game. I just haven't had the time to put into it because I know what the initial starting part is where you put in most of your hours. Yeah. After that, you can see that it's going to be like you could jump in just to do a few hours a day, or like an hour, or just jump in for like half an hour.
Your farm can become increasingly automatous as you go along.
Yeah.
Either through machinery or through marriage and getting them to do some graft.
It's just the possibilities in that game. There's so much stuff that you can do.
I played about somewhere between 40 and 50 hours on Xbox.
So you should be
maybe 20 to 30 hours on Switch.
You played that much?
Yeah.
When have you been doing this?
Watching TV.
Crazy. Didn't realise.
Stardew's a really good game. They took Harvest Moon and really improved on the formula.
Just ramped it up. put every made
And it's
everything.
incredible that it's made by one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to lock that in as a top 3.
Oh, I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah, absolutely lock that in.
Okay, so we will put a little star next to that to indicate that it is locked in for now.
So that means we're getting rid of Sonic, right? Or are we talking about Wolfenstein next? Cause
Okay,
that's the last one.
Wolfenstein 2.
Yep.
Neither of you have played it?
No. I'm waiting until it's already on sale.
Yeah.
As every Bethesda game is.
Yeah.
Within like 2 or 3 weeks
Yeah,
of coming
I
out,
picked
but I
up
want to
half
finish the
price.
first one.
Oh, okay. So I will say it is not it is a modern day shooter. It's not the most refined shooter. It's more of an old school experience. Like, you're talking health that doesn't heal. You can't really play it as a cover shooter because enemies just gun for you. The AI is non-existent. They'll come and you can't sit behind cover and pick people off. But it's fun in an old school shooter way. Like, you can dual wield every single gun, which is nuts. Where this game is above and beyond, like, I'd argue, like, possibly any game ever. Its writing and its voice acting, its performances are absolutely fantastic. Its depiction of a Nazi occupied America are brilliant. Some of the little touches, there's fantastic characters. It's got one of the best. It's got a brilliant sense of humor. It's got brilliant, like, touching moments. It's got flashbacks of BJ Blazkowicz's life and, like, twists that you don't expect, like, which kind of go some way to explain why he appears, like, outward facing is such a dumb, shallow, rare America character. It's because he's desensitized because of the crap he has had to put up through out his life.
Yep.
He has the most hard-ass pregnant woman you will ever see in a video game. Most of the game takes part on a submarine that you've stolen from the Nazis. The ambient conversation, like, most of it's always there in between each mission, kind of.
Okay.
So, and then there's little, like, missions in between that. The ambient conversations that take place between all the characters and they'll talk to you when you come up is brilliant. It's like you have those conversations in things like Fallout and stuff, but this is way above that.
Yep.
It's a grotesque game at places. It loves putting things in your face, like characters getting right up close to you and talking to you. It's brilliant. It has to be in the top 3 for me. Like, I would, as much as I just said we locked in Stardew, I would sacrifice Stardew before.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But then you were also clinging on to Sonic, so
Okay, we can talk about Sonic. It's a bloody good Sonic game.
it is.
It's what people think Sonic was, but actually is. Like, you go back and play Sonic now, it's quite sluggish. The controls aren't responsive as you think. It subverts expectations with some of its boss battles. It's
Surprises you.
It's got really good level design that does. People always say the best way you play Sonic, the best Sonic's at is when it slows down and you're thinking. This is genuinely the case with this one. Like, there are moments where it slows down and it works well.
I'd argue though that those are the worst parts.
They're not that, but it does it better than people. Like, go back and play Sonic 1, the Marble Zone, where everything's right angles and you're working your way down.
Everyone remembers it
being better than
incorrectly.
it was. Yeah,
it wasn't all running.
Like, there is an argument that Sonic isn't all just about speed. There is some, like, element of, and there is elements of exploration to it, like finding the bonus stages and stuff.
Yeah, I just got stuck in that one particular level where you have to work your way upwards, and it was kind of tricky. And I think that's where I stopped. I didn't get back to it. But I enjoyed every bit before that, so. And I had trouble with at least one of the bosses that I struggled with. But
Mark, you played Sonic Mania. How do you feel about it?
It's the first time I've liked a Sonic game.
Well, there you go.
That wasn't, wasn't Sonic or Stars Racing. I think that, considering how much I hated Sonic before, that says a lot.
Okay. How we still have Puyo Puyo Tetris in here as well.
I would say,
game.
Yeah, I know. But for me, if I was going to drop one right now, I would say it was the Tetris. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's a really good game, but it's Tetris again. And even though you're going to have Tetris this year, you probably have another one next year. It might not be a good one, but we're always going to have another one and another one.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay. Waypoint touches out, so that leaves us with 4.
Man,
Assassin's Creed, Wolfenstein 2, Stardew Valley, Sonic Mania.
here comes the struggle.
I am going to stick hard and fast that Wolfenstein 2 needs to be on this list.
So, and I'm only batting for 2 of them. I'm more than happy to get rid of Sonic. I want Stardew for sure, and I'll keep Assassin's Creed because I've got a feeling it's going to be a good game for me.
Okay. How do you feel, Mark?
Sorry, you cut out again there.
Oh.
So,
So Chris
what have we
said,
got? Assassin's
Chris
Creed.
said he's happy to lose Sonic Mania out of all of them, but that leaves Assassin's
well,
Creed.
I haven't. Well, I haven't played Wolfenstein 2, but I know it's going to be a good game, and you're quite passionate about that.
Sell it well.
Stardew Valley, I will knife fight anyone over.
It's so good.
I think it's between Assassin's
given a
Creed and
choice, I
Sonic.
would go for Assassin's Creed over Sonic, because it's I enjoyed Sonic Mania, but I enjoyed Assassin's Creed more.
Okay,
And then
Sonic
we're
Mania is
3.
gone.
Oh man!
That's a,
At least it was in the conversation.
wait. Yeah, I think maybe just by the fact that we've all played it, Stardew Valley is our winner here.
I'd say probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not to say
I'd
the
be
other
very
games
happy
are
with
bad,
that.
because they're both obviously great games.
Yeah. Okay, so we finally whittled down our lists. Now we've got to make up a top 10.
Really?
From the 12 at least. Does anyone want to take a toilet break before we do that?
I'm alright.
You need a toilet break, Mark?
No, I'm alright, cheers.
Okay.
Let me guess, you need one, don't you?
No.
Child's bladder and all that.
Okay.
Just wait for Star Wars, that's when you'll need to go later on.
Oh, yeah. You seen Star Wars yet, Mark? It came out yesterday for you, right?
Sorry?
Have you seen Star Wars yet? Didn't come out yesterday.
Was Star Wars? Yeah,
Yeah.
it came out yesterday.
Yeah, have you seen it yet?
No, I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Oh, okay. We're off to it premieres tonight here.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they had midnight showings.
Yeah.
But I've got to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to see it with Zoe.
Oh, okay, cool. Where have I gone wrong here?
What have you done wrong?
Missed out some games tonight.
Breaking it.
I've only got 10 games, it should be 12. I missed out to Colour.
I was going to say, Zelda better be already there.
Oh, Splatoon 2 is the other one I missed out.
Sorry?
Sorry, I'm just waffling whilst I try and put this list together. Right, if you go on to sheet 2, Mark, I've put them in a order of top 10.
Okay, cool.
Actually, I'm going to move them across, and then we'll put them in ranking as we work our way across along this top collar thing. Okay, so we now got to whittle down 12 games into 10. So we already kind of said our top ones for each platform would be automatically in the top 10. So Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Cuphead, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Stardew Valley are already shoo-ins for the top 10.
I gotta get a drink.
Okay. So are there any games that anybody feels super passionate about getting rid of, or have to 100% make this top 10 out of the games that are remaining? I would argue the fact that we put Mario Odyssey straight in with no debate means it has to be in the top 10. It was the one other than
Of course.
I will say Gran Turismo Sport is a very, very, very good racing game that caters to a niche crowd of an already niche crowd of racing game fans.
Okay. So is that enough to rule it out, you think? Or
I would think so, yeah.
Okay, we can rule Gran Turismo Sport. Well done, you made it into the top 12. Let's talk about PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
No, let's not do that.
It's...
Come on, I ain't budging.
What else goes...
It's in that top 10
What
somewhere.
else goes before PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds then?
For me, if I was to look at that list, I know there's a couple there that I haven't played. And even this next... What was it, Machina?
Next Machina, yeah.
That actually looks good. I've seen what Tacoma looks like. I've watched reviews. I'd be willing to give that up.
Okay. I'm willing to let Tacoma up if Wolfenstein makes the top 10. I don't care where, because they're both games that I'm passionate about their stories, but I'll back Wolfenstein 2 further than Tacoma.
I'm okay with that.
Are you okay with that, Mark? So we get rid of Tacoma and Wolfenstein 2 goes into the top 10.
I haven't played either of them, so...
Okay. So that's actually already a top 10.
Alright, cool.
That was easier than I thought it would be.
Now we have to put them in order though, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds terrible that we shouldn't start at the top, but I'm pretty sure I know what I want for number 1.
Right, let's start from the bottom.
Should we start from the bottom?
Oh wait, we don't have... Oh, I put PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds in twice, that's why.
Well, maybe it deserves 2 spots in the top 10.
If we start from the bottom, I think Assassin's Creed Origins, as much as we like it, it did kind of struggle into the top 10, sort of. If you get what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah. But
so then it should be in at number 10.
I'm okay with that just because I haven't played enough of it, but I enjoy what I've played so far.
What do you think, Mark? Do you think it deserves to... Okay. Neither of you two... Go on, Mark.
I think Next Machina makes sense as a number 9. Because again, it's twin stick shooters. Twin stick arcade shooters are a very niche genre, and Housemarque are the absolute best at that particular genre. But it is very niche, as we saw a few weeks ago by Housemarque saying that they are not going to be making that sort of game anymore because the market's just not there for it.
Which is a shame because they've been the pros of it for so long.
Yep.
And it's like I think
20 years or so.
Yeah, I think they've got them to a point where they couldn't make like a lesser experience that either looked lesser or like played lesser because of how high they've put the benchmark. But then it's not worth their investment to try and make that kind of experience anymore, which is such a shame.
No, they reached the pinnacle with Next Machina. I think it's of all of the Housemarque games I've played, which is almost all of them, I think. It's the best by a long way, but it's not going to appeal to that many people. Okay,
cool. All right. Well, it's good. It's made in the top 10 anyway. I think your points about it kind of make sense why it would be lower, kind of. So I think this is where it gets.
This is where me too. I agree.
I think Splatoon 2. It crept in only just above ARMS and above Mario Rabbids. It's somewhere in the lower reaches of here. It's a great game.
It's definitely in the bottom. It's not in the top 5 for me.
There's other games I want to bat harder for than Splatoon 2 as much as I enjoyed it.
It is the best multiplayer shooter that came out this year.
Okay then, so then if we take that argument, it finishes higher than PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. And it's hard to argue otherwise.
Oh.
both very different.
I mean, I can't really judge that because I haven't played PUBG.
Okay, and well, I have to put in there though, because PlayerUnknown is really, I know it's janky and it's hard to play right now. So I kind of have to say I'd probably put Splatoon 2 above that.
Okay, so are we saying PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds in 8th? Splatoon.
Okay, would I put
everything else? I feel is above those two.
Obviously, even Horizon, even though I haven't played it, from what I could tell, it definitely
Horizon's
is better.
a bloody good game. I haven't played it either, but it's obvious. And
Okay.
Mark talked very passionately about it.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that one being there, right? An 8th.
So PUBG and then Splatoon 2.
Yeah, you got any arguments with that?
No, I'm happy with that.
Okay, this is where
I think you should put Wolfenstein 2 next. Just gonna go right in there because I haven't, like I said, haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn, but it's got to be better than Wolfenstein 2. And looking at the rest of those games, there, I don't want to eat any of those.
Do you know what's hard here? So, I think.
Let me pose a question to you about Wolfenstein.
Okay.
Does it do anything? You know how when the first Wolfenstein came out, or Wolfenstein: The New Order came out, and it's kind of like, this is really cool, this is really fresh. There hasn't been a shooter like this in quite a while. It does the new Colossus. Does it do anything like that, or is it just more Wolfenstein?
I'd say it does with some of the themes. Like, it definitely shocks you.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't played it, so I can't judge. I'm just curious.
Some of the really weird, the way they portray the Nazis as super ruthless, but also kind of incompetent at the same time. They occupy parts of America, for example, where the KKK are prevalent, and the Nazis treat the KKK like they're insignificant, like subspecies, and it's kind of funny because they're white supremacists as well. You can tell it's all very of the time with like Trump being in power and stuff. And I think that's perhaps where it's like political message in a bygone time. It kind of does push that a bit more down your throat. If you pick the Wyatt timeline, there's some cool drug stuff that happens. It's pretty funny. And his like journey through the story is kind of cool. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've hit a bit of an impasse here because I feel like there's 3 games we all definitely love in Zelda, Mario Odyssey, and Stardew Valley, and then there's 3 games we're all personally more invested in.
Yeah, because I'm like, I've played and beat Cuphead and love it. You're with Wolfenstein, and Mark is gonna hold on to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of like, are we just gonna argue it out?
Yeah,
like who's one wins higher?
Before we do it, any of them in between, I feel like we could put Zelda at number 1 and not look back. I really do. Because
I have absolutely no objections to that. Zelda's the best game that came out this year. It's arguably the best game that's come out in the last 5, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to talk about it. We haven't talked about
it.
Zelda.
Was everything and more. It was. There was nothing wrong with that game for me, apart from the tiniest lack of story. It felt like, because every Zelda before has a lot of story, and it felt this was very. They left it to the side.
But what story it told was kind of touching. Those little flashback scenes, the moments you have with the champions. It was sparse but kind of touching.
I guess just enough, right? It felt like you needed just a little more, but I guess there's DLCs out now too, right? But I haven't had a chance to look at it. From what I understand, there's not a huge amount of story in that either. No.
Okay.
Aside from things like that and the weapon degradation system that some people really did not get on with, apart from a few little things like that, it's almost a perfect game.
Yeah, the shrines are incredible. Like they make like a microcosm of all the best puzzles they could have come up with a quite a limited tool set, because they kind of got rid of the item progression we've been used to. You basically have all your abilities in the beginning of the game, and you kind of need to be able to because of the structure. So the shrines are really cool, then the main dungeons in the
I do have to
anime
say,
monsters are cool.
dungeons is something I missed a little. Like, I know it's a very different Zelda game, and yes, you do have those 4 main kind of dungeons, but there's not a lot to them. And the shrines make up for that, I guess.
Because there's enough of them. They're everywhere. They're bloody hundreds of them.
Yep, 120.
Yeah.
Such a game.
And I got them all.
Game.
It is a bloody good game. There's no arguing.
Most robust physics engine since Half-Life 2.
Yep. I'd say so.
Yeah. There's a lot in there, isn't there?
Just people are still finding things that you can do now with random things in the game, right? So, and changed open world games for sure, because anytime you jump into another game now and it's open world, and you can't just like climb a wall you feel restricted big time.
It's disappointing. Even when when I was jumping between that and Horizon Zero Dawn, it was kind of like, I can't climb every surface that I can see. That kind of sucks.
Yeah,
I agree. And you can see everything everywhere. Go to each point. You can mark them off on your mark with a little check mark thing. You can see the colour shining up in the air, and you can go there. There's not a single place you can't go in there.
For me, there's one big issue though.
What's that?
How are they going to top it? Right.
I think like Majora's Mask style game with all the weird
if they
time
do something
stuff
like
in
that
would
be incredible. If they spin off and just go completely odd again like they did with Majora's Mask, you're right, that would be, and people would love that too, because everyone wants that kind of game again, because they haven't really done that since Majora's Mask. I wish they would let Capcom go back and make some games like they did before handheld.
Okay, so Zelda's a lock-in. It's a bloody brilliant game. So I've still got to rank games 2 to 6.
I think, would anyone disagree with Mario Odyssey at number 2?
No. We can put that in there straight away. We should have done this to begin with.
No, this is a good way of doing it. Like the games which kind of snuck through, then the games which kind of like bolted through.
Yeah.
That they were guaranteed in, and then kind of the games we didn't really argue about. So.
Yeah, and I'd think I'd say Stardew Valley's probably a lock for 3, and then it's just 4, 5, and 6. Whatever order those go in, that's going to be the difficult.
Oh damn! Yeah, the absolute fight.
We all talked about how much we love Stardew Valley. We've all bought it on
multiple platforms. The guy's got all our money.
Guy's got all of our money. Yeah. So it's who's willing to.
Who's willing to give? I have to say, Horizon Zero Dawn's probably a better game than Cuphead. I do love, but I wouldn't put. I see it's so hard. How can you do this when you haven't played those other games?
Yeah, this is the thing. It's Horizon Zero Dawn is a really, really good take on a oversaturated genre. And it does it better than most. It does it better than Ubisoft has probably ever done an open world game. Plus, it's got the whole hunting and fighting robot dinosaurs. So it's got little bits of Monster Hunter in there. It's got little bits of The Witcher in there in a way, especially with the side quests. The CD Projekt Red apparently helped out with the writing of some of the side quest storylines and whatnot. Cuphead has the nicest, to me, the most appealing art style and art direction I've seen in a video game in a long time.
Like I said, there's nothing else like it.
I love that sort of like Steamboat Willie style
and
animation.
It's not even just the graphics, the animation and graphics either. They kind of whole hog went into it, the sound effects and stuff, and have the music, everything about it. They're like entrenched in that aesthetic.
Yep, and you have to get to the end of the game because you're missing out on some stuff. I'm telling you.
I'll get there one day.
There's filters too that you can use to make play the game in black and white and stuff, and it looks great. So makes
and then
it.
I've already talked about Wolfenstein enough. Like,
I know.
So, Chris, you already kind of said that you feel that Horizon might be a better game than Cuphead.
I feel like it might be, just because of the scale. I mean, Cuphead is unique. It is what it is. The actual gameplay, there is other games that are like that. But, like we said, artistically, that's the only one that you'll ever see like that. Unless they make Cuphead 2, which we ain't going to see anytime soon.
Okay. So if Cuphead...
We will probably see more Horizon Zero Dawn, though.
True.
With how
for
well
sure.
that's sold.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I don't know. So if you're willing for Horizon Zero Dawn to go above Cuphead, but you're willing for Wolfenstein 2 to go above Cuphead? No.
Because to me, I know how you've described it, and yes, it does do all of those things, but like from the things that I've seen, it feels like another shooting game. I know,
bloody good story.
I know it has that, but in terms of gameplay wise, it's not going out there and doing anything drastically different, right?
Well,
I can only really go by the trailer for this. I didn't want to watch any actual gameplay or anything like that because I do intend to play it at some point, and because I haven't finished the first one yet, I didn't want any potential spoilers being dropped. But going just off the trailer, it's rare for a video game trailer to make me like properly laugh out loud.
Yeah.
But there were a few moments in that trailer. The guy with the robot arm trying to feed himself.
Yep.
And there's like people around the table having a conversation. The conversation slowly like dies away as everyone just watches him very carefully try to put this spoon in his mouth, and then or whatever it is he's trying to do, and then hits himself in the face. And then the other clip with the guy tripping balls and seeing a little cartoon lizard.
Yep. That's Wyatt. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say,
I can only base it on that and what little I have played of the first one. And aside from some really weird decisions like having to press a button to pick up ammo and armor and health,
I don't know why that's still a thing
every time. I think that's a really good shooter.
Yeah, the only thing I would argue in terms of doing something different is in this day and age to have like a old school shooter in that way is something different.
Yeah, it is.
It isn't your usual like duck behind cover, wait for your health to regenerate.
But Doom happened.
So what we're saying,
Doom is a better refinement of that formula.
Yeah,
I would concede that.
So, but all this talking doesn't matter unless we figure out which order they're going to be in.
Okay. Should we say Horizon
in fourth? Are you okay with that too? Because you haven't played it either,
I
right?
haven't played it either.
Mark, you've had an easy fight here. I'm telling you.
And this is it.
I think you're both going to go against me. So I don't know. If that's the case,
I've got to say, right? If I haven't played either, if I had the ability to play both of them, right now, I would gravitate towards Cuphead.
Okay, we'll go for it.
All right, cool. Top 5 is good enough for me.
Still in there. Still at number 6. So we've done our list. Unless anyone wants to change anything, I'm going to read it out and we're done.
That's good.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
I think that's good.
So we have Assassin's Creed Origin, number 10. Number 9, Nex Machina. Number 8, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Number 7, Splatoon 2. Number 6, Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Number 5, Cuphead. Number 4, Horizon Zero Dawn. Number 3, Stardew Valley. Number 2, Mario Odyssey. And your Joypads for Goalpost Game of the Year is Zelda, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. And that's it. It only took us just shy of 2 hours to make that decision. So that was it. Thank you very much for joining us, Mark.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
And we are going off now to record our last episode of season 1 to decide the best football game of 2017.
It's going to be fun.
Thank you. Where can people find you, Mark, just in case they've enjoyed listening to you and want to find you on the internet?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Damocles693, as in sort of Damocles, and you can listen to me on Lapsed Gamer Radio.
Bloody good podcast. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you all both later.
Ta-ra.
Bah.